Say hi right there. Look, say hi. The last time we uploaded a video was in May of 2018, and since then I gave birth to my son Aiden in July. So yes, say hi. He's gonna be a year in 3 weeks. So it's been a year since I uploaded, and I just wanted to give you guys a quick little update of why it is that we haven't uploaded, or give you a little insight of what our daily lives is now. My pregnancy was really difficult because I had preeclampsia, which is a extreme high blood pressure, swelling of the feet. Stop, you guys are gonna be hearing my baby in the back. So it's extreme swelling of the feet, extreme swelling of the arms, of the face, fingers, everything you can imagine. I was just super swollen, and I'll insert a picture right here so you guys can see. Before I gave birth to Aiden, I was feeling a lot of pressure in my abdomen area, which really started to worry me because I was pregnant, obviously. So I asked my boyfriend to take me to the emergency room about 2 a.m. in the morning, which would be the 26th, the 25th to the 26th, because it was 2 a.m. So I was there, and then there they transferred me to the WIP, which is the Women's and Infant Pavilion. I was thinking that I was just gonna go in and they were gonna give me medicine and I would be on my way. But when they put all the gadgets all over me, made me peanut cup, and checked my blood pressure, they told me that I had to stay. And if my blood pressure would not go, if it didn't go down, I would have to be induced, which is they would break my water so that my labor would begin. I was really scared because I still had 3 more weeks until I was supposed to give birth to Aiden, so I wasn't prepared at all. I was scared of the fact that my high blood pressure might affect my son. So I waited about 4 hours until I got my own room. They were giving me medicine for my high blood pressure. They would give it to me through an IV, and it sucked because that medicine felt hot. I could feel it going into my body. And it made me really drowsy and just weak. So I was there for, let's say, 26 hours in total until I gave birth. You did it on purpose. I know you are. So they kept giving me medicine because my high blood pressure would peak and then go down, peak and then go down. So I was there for 26 hours. My water was broken. They had to check that I was dilating, but luckily I dilated 9 centimeters, and then I gave birth to Aiden. But I was so drugged up that I would not feel my own contractions whatsoever. I would have to look at the monitor that would keep track of your contractions, and I would have to look, and when it peaked I would have to push because I did not feel a thing. So during my labor I was falling asleep, and so was my son. I had to get him out. I was so weak that my son was falling asleep inside of me, and I needed to get him out immediately. I was the last push. I just couldn't. I begged and begged that I couldn't do it, that I was so tired, that just to help me get him out. And my labor doctor was like, you need to do it. You need to push him out because he's falling asleep. So with all the strength that I had no idea I had, I just pushed him out, and then everybody was quiet. I had my boyfriend on one hand and my mom on the other side. I looked at them and I asked them if everything was okay, because I already know how my mom is and I already know my boyfriend. And I asked, is everything okay? Because they just looked at each other, and I noticed, and shh, quiet. And I noticed, so they said everything is fine. So they kept trying to convince me that everything was okay. They put the baby on my chest for skin-to-skin contact. I didn't see anything, so I was okay, he's fine. They weighed him. They did what they had to do, and then they gave him to me for a second time, and that's when I saw that my son's lip and his nose was collapsed, and the right side of his lip, there was a big gap. So that's when I learned that my son was born with a condition called cleft lip and cleft palate, which is when the baby is 10 weeks in your belly. That's when their face starts constructing, and everything starts growing, as everything starts forming. Well, my son formed, but his lip, his palate, which is the top of your hair, and his nose did not form correctly. Immediately I was freaked out. I didn't know, I never heard of this condition. I was scared because I obviously thought that I did something wrong, or that I wasn't taking proper care of myself during my pregnancy. It's just all these emotions started to flow through me, and that first day it sucked, honestly, because he was born with what he had. I didn't know what it was. Everybody was shocked. Everybody didn't know how to react. I was blaming myself. My boyfriend was blaming himself. We didn't know what had gone wrong to cause this condition. My OBGYN never told me that my son had a cleft lip. I took the proper testing to make sure that my son didn't have anything during my 27th week of pregnancy. And I wasn't informed. But looking back now, looking at the ultrasounds, you can clearly see it, and I'll insert a picture here of that little piece of skin missing. It was just, I would say that I was a little sad knowing that my son had this condition and there was nothing that I could do to change it. I couldn't go back in time, and I couldn't do anything to change this. So that, mi amor. So for those first, what? So I just had to forget everything that I knew about pregnancy with a normal child. I had to, other things that I learned in my classes that I took. I had to forget everything, and I had to learn everything. I had to learn everything new. I had to learn how to feed my son. I had to learn how to lay him down. I had to learn how to properly hold him during feeding. I had to buy a special nipple. I had to buy a special nipple mold for me to feed him. That didn't end up working. It was just so much to learn in those 24 hours. I had to face the fact that my son was born the way he was, and if God didn't want it that way, he wouldn't have done it that way. I was just grateful that my son was healthy. For those first 24 hours, I didn't post on social media. I didn't post about him. I didn't want anybody to know how he looked. I just didn't want no judgment from anybody. I didn't want what I felt inside. I didn't want it reciprocated from people online. I was already blaming myself. I didn't want anybody else to tell me that. So I just didn't want to say anything. I had to, from the hospital bed, I had to get a pediatrician to immediately send a referral to Children's Hospital of Los Angeles, because I had to get that process started for my son so that they can help him and reconstruct his lip and his nose and his palate. So all that I was doing from the hospital bed, and it was just so much because I didn't know that I had to send referrals. I didn't know that I had to read up on everything. I didn't know that I had no idea the process of all of this. So I was new. I was scared. I was so confused. I didn't know. I had no idea what I was doing. I had my son's pediatrician send a referral. From there, it took 3 months until my son could get seen at Children's Hospital. It was just so much going on. And if it wasn't for my mom being there, I don't know what I would have done. Because she knew what to ask. She knew you had to have a social worker there. You had to have a pediatrician there. You had to have all these people involved just for this one thing. So I'm so thankful that she was there to help me. So I was there for 3 days. My doctor would not let me leave. My blood pressure was too high. They kept pumping high blood pressure medicine to control it. They kept pumping that in me. Every half hour, they would come and take blood out of me. So by the time that I left, which was the 3rd day, he had asked me if I wanted to leave, and I said, please let me go home. If not, I would have been there another 2 days. I left, and no kidding, my arm where they had the IV was black from all the pricking that I had. All the blood that was being taken out. My arm was black, and I looked like I did drugs because it was just too much. It hurt when they would come and take blood. It was so painful for me. So the 3rd day they let me go, and I went home. Everything was good, and then a new chapter started. So 3 months after Aiden was born, he got seen at Children's Hospital. Everything was so fast. They had a chart of how his life was going to be for the next 18 years, and that scared me because he had a plan of his life and all the surgeries and a timeline of how everything was going to be for him from the moment he was born to the moment he was 18 years of age. So that scared me because I didn't want to know my son was going to have surgery this day. He was going to meet these people this day. He was going to have surgery this following year. He had to get tested this year. It was just so overwhelming to see how his life was going to pan out for the next 18 years just because of this condition he was born with. So we saw a doctor at surgeon at Children's Hospital. He was amazing. I trust him completely with my son's life. So the instructions that they gave me at Children's Hospital was that I had to fortify Aiden's formula, which was I had to give more formula than I did water, and that would help him gain weight. Because he was born with the cleft lip and cleft palate, so he cannot latch on into my breast. So it was extremely difficult at first because he was losing a lot of weight. So I had to buy a special bottle for him, which the nipple is elongated, so it's really long and it's fat, and that helps him eat. So I would have to give him more formula than I did water, and that would bulk him up, and he had to be really chubby for his surgery because he was so small. He was 3 months of age and he was going to get a surgery already. So that first surgery, I'll show you a before and after picture so you guys know. The surgery, I had to be there at 4 in the morning. The part of his lip that was detached and missing the skin, they basically cut and they glued it together. They didn't sew it, they didn't stitch it, they glued it together. And then they fixed his nose, so the right nostril was completely collapsed. So they fixed it, they opened it, and then what they had put in his nose were these stents. So it basically looks like 2 little straws in his nose that would help keep that nostril up so it wouldn't collapse again. And that stent, I would have to clean it every day, and it sucked because I only had like this much of space to clean around, and of course he would still get boogers, he would still sneeze, it would get crusty. The stent and the lip and the nose connected, the blood was drying. I had to clean all of that, make sure that his airway was completely open because he was a baby. He didn't know that he had to breathe out of his mouth. He had to learn that on his own. I thought we were waiting for him to come out of surgery for 12 hours, but it was realistically only 6. I was so overwhelmed. Excuse me. I was so overwhelmed. I was scared. I was a mess. I was crying. I was praying. I couldn't eat. It was just so much to deal with from the moment he was born till 3 months, at him being so tiny and getting surgery. So he recovered. It was amazing. I bought a special cream for the scar to make sure that it went away. He looks amazing. Obviously that didn't impact him because look how hyper he is. You are so hyper. You need to stay still. Look, can you say hi? Can you show me your beautiful face? Look, can you show me your beautiful face? Look right there. Look, show him. Say hi. Say hi. So I will go in depth into Aiden's condition in another video, but I just wanted to share with you guys my pregnancy experience, since I haven't really said anything or haven't been open about it. I just felt like it was about time that I opened up and explained what had happened and shed a little light on Aiden's condition, because I don't know if there's people out there that are brand new to this and have questions, or just simply want to get educated on cleft lip and cleft palate. So I feel like this is an opportunity to share our stories and to share Aiden's journey, because it is a long one. So I hope that I have answered some of your questions, and if you guys feel like I need to explain more, or you guys have more questions for me, please go ahead and comment below and ask me some questions, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.